All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the Green Zone for the NFL Week 8 edition, college football Week 9 edition. As always, I'm your host, Sean Redden. We're not going to waste any time, just going to jump right into these games. No London or overseas games this week, so first game is going to be 1 o'clock, and it's the Giants at the Eagles, with the Eagles a 7.5-point favorite with the over-under. Sorry, the over-under at 43.5. Now, I love the Eagles this week to win and cover this number pretty handedly. They just played 2 weeks ago, the Eagles and the Giants pretty much dominated that game from start to finish. And now the Eagles are going to be missing their number one wide receiver in A.J. Brown this week. And this number is still sitting at 7.5. Look, the books aren't in the business of handing out free money, and every casual bettor is going to take the points with the Giants this week. But the books know that's why this line is 7.5. Last a couple weeks ago performance was an anomaly, and I think the Eagles are the far and away better team. The Eagles tried to run the ball entirely too much in that first matchup against the Giants, but I believe the lesson was learned in that mini bye week off that Thursday night game against the Giants that they can't run the ball like they were last year. You got to spread it out and let Jalen Hurts throw the ball. And I think the lesson learned, as you saw last week against the Vikings, Hurts threw it all over the place. Now, I know even without A.J. Brown, I still believe the Eagles are going to be able to attack this Giants secondary and have success. I like the Eagles to cover here pretty easily. Now, moving on to the Jets at the Bengals. The Bengals are a 6.5-point favorite with the over under at 44.5. Look, I actually lean the Jets here in this one because the Bengals offense has been better with Joe Flacco at quarterback. He has brought stability to that offense, but their defense is still the worst in the NFL. The Bengals defense isn't good enough to be laying a touchdown against anybody in the NFL. I'm not even sure if they would lay touchdown to some college teams. How bad this Bengals defense is. Tyrod Taylor is expected to be the quarterback for the Jets tomorrow. Hasn't been officially announced, which I believe he's an upgrade over Fields, at least slightly, at least from a more consistent standpoint. But they're going to be without Garrett Wilson, their number one wide receiver, and they're going to be without Sauce Gardner, their best player on defense as well. I just can't pull the trigger on the Jets with those two being out, but it would never be the Bengals at this number for me. It would be the Jets or nothing. Now, the next game up is these Bears at the Ravens. The Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite with the over under at 46.5. There's just no way that I could bet this game right now with all the question marks around Lamar Jackson. There are reports that he was a full participant in practice yesterday, but then there's other reports saying that while he was a full participant, he only ran the scout team, and Tyler Huntley actually was the one who got all the first team reps. So there's no way you could confidently make a bet in this game without knowing his status for certain. If he does play, then I'm going to have to really take a look at this game. If he doesn't, then it's probably going to be a pass for me with this one. So right now, nothing for me in the Bears Ravens. Next game up is the Dolphins at the Falcons. The Falcons are a 7.5-point favorite with the over under at 44.5. Now, this is another game where it's just nothing for me right now, but I'm waiting to see if the price is going to drop on Atlanta. It's expected that Kirk Cousins is going to play quarterback tomorrow for the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Penix is expected to be out. And I'm hoping once that news becomes official, people push back and will come in on the Dolphins getting this number to a flat 7 or even a 6.5. And if that is the case, then I would be in on the Atlanta Falcons, with 7.5 is just too much for me here. So wait for the Cousins news to come out officially and then see if you can get a better number on the Atlanta Falcons would be my advice in this game. Now, the next game up is going to be the Bills at the Panthers. The Bills are a 7.5-point favorite with the over under at 46.5. I like the Panthers here. Give me the Panthers plus 7.5 in this one. The Panthers have been good in two aspects this year: running the football and defending the run. That's a good matchup against this Bills team where offensive coordinator Joe Brady has openly said they want to run the ball more. They want to be a run-dominant team. And on the flip side, the Bills defense has been atrocious against the run. Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard should both have big games in this one versus the Bills. And Andy Dalton, another game where it's going to be a backup quarterback playing. Andy Dalton is going to be playing quarterback for the Panthers tomorrow. And now, again, I'm not sure from a talent standpoint, is he an upgrade over Bryce Young, but he at least is going to bring some veteran consistency and stability to that passing attack. So I do like this number over 7. Give me the Panthers plus 7.5. Going to be able to exploit that Bills run defense. Now, the next game up is the 49ers at the Texans. The Texans are a 1.5 point favorite with the over under at 42.5. No play for me in this one. The Texans offense has just been broken compared to what it looked to last year. CJ Stroud looks like a completely different person, and the 49ers are just dealing with too many injuries. Feel like that's the case every week for me to want to get involved in their game. So yeah, it's going to be a pass for me in the 49ers Texans. Next game up is the Browns at the Patriots. The Patriots are a 7.5 point favorite with the over under at 40.5. Nothing official yet, but I am leaning the Patriots. I might end up getting to a bet on the Patriots in this one, but I want to try to get a flat seven, same as the Atlanta game, flat seven or maybe a little less. Um, the Browns had success last week offensively because they were able to run the ball effectively. That won't be the case against this Patriots defense. They're very good against the run. They're going to have to throw the ball to have success against the Patriots, and I'm not sure that they're really set up to have success through the air right now. And then on the flip side, the Browns defense overall is very good. I talk about that every week on this show. That being said, they are susceptible to explosive plays downfield, and Drake May has been one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback, at exploiting explosive plays downfield. So far this season, he on 20-yard plus or more throws, he has 5 touchdowns on the season and only 4 incompletions. This number is just currently out of reach where I see value here, but if a flat seven appears, then I'm going to be all over the Patriots in this one. Moving on, it's the Buccaneers at the Saints. The Buccaneers are a 3.5 point favorite with the over under at 46.5. The Bucks injury report this week might be the most insane thing I've ever seen. It looks like a Walmart receipt. They have 18 players listed on their injury report this week, and I just cannot get involved with that many question marks. Especially the most important one was an addition yesterday in Vita Vea, who is easily the Buccaneers' best defensive player. He is a stalwart in that run defense, and you just can't get involved if he's going to be out, especially with 17 other guys also on that injury report who are questionable for tomorrow's game. So nothing in the Buccaneers Saints for me. Now, Titans at the Colts. The Colts are a 14.5 point favorite with the over under at 47.5. I like the over here. The Colts are going to be able to do whatever they want against this Titans defense. I think they can pretty much name their score. If you want to take a look at the Colts team total, it's a little high for me at 30.5, but I don't hate it if that's the way you want to play this game. But yeah, it was just a little more for me to want to get involved. But the Colts on defense are also dealing with some injuries themselves. The Titans on offense are mostly healthy besides Calvin Ridley. And Cam Ward averaged 7.5 yards per attempt last week. So I think they're sneakily going to be able to do enough against this injured Colts defense to get us over this total of 47.5. So I like the over in the Titans Colts. Now, next game up is the Cowboys at the Broncos. The Broncos are a 3.5 point favorite with the over under at 50.5. It's a Cowboys game, so we're betting the over. It's just really that simple. The offense has been great for the Cowboys. They have 3 explosive weapons: CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and running back Javonte Williams. The Broncos do have the best cornerback in the NFL, and Patrick Surtain. And then they also have another really good one opposite him and Riley Moss. But overall, I feel like this Broncos defense has been a little overrated. They've given up points recently. On the flip side, this Broncos offense has been a little inconsistent with Bo Nix's performance, really. But that being said, this Cowboys defense can't stop anybody. And the Broncos should be able to get their points as well. So I like this total to go over 50.5 in this one. I love it. And also, if you want to play like a little like fun side bet, they're going to be up in altitude in Denver. Brandon Aubrey is the best kicker in the NFL, biggest leg in the NFL. If you want to sprinkle like a 65 plus yard, because in reality, in this game, if the Cowboys get to midfield, they should be in field goal range in that altitude with Aubrey. But I think that could be also a fun little side bet if you wanted to do something like that. Now, the next game up is going to be Sunday Night Football, the Packers at the Steelers. The Packers are a 2.5 point favorite with the over under at 45.5. Now, I know everybody is going to want to play the Steelers in this one because it's Aaron Rodgers coming back versus the Packers. But we have to bet numbers and not the teams. And the numbers are saying the Packers. Packers offense matches up really well against this Steelers defense. The Steelers give up a ton of explosive plays, and that's exactly what this Packers offense is predicated on. They want to hit explosives in the pass game and then lean on Josh Jacobs to get it done on the ground. And on the defensive side of the ball, the Packers rarely blitz. They get pressure with just rushing four, and that's going to be a huge problem for Aaron Rodgers and his Steelers offensive line, who has had some issues this year. If they can force Rodgers to not get the ball out quick, first read's not available because there's hands in his face and pressure, it's going to be a long day for the Steelers offense. I love the Packers here, minus the 2.5. Now moving on to Monday Night Football, it's going to be the Commanders at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are an 11.5-point favorite with the over-under at 47.5, and that's exactly where I'm going in this one. I like the over 47.5 in the Commanders Chiefs. Marcus Mariota is going to be at quarterback for the Commanders in this one, and on the surface, that is a downgrade to Jalen Daniels. But if you look into the numbers, it really might not be from an offensive standpoint. With Mariota at quarterback this year, the Commanders averaged 6.4 yards per play, which would actually be second in the NFL, only behind the Colts. And the Commanders have also ran heavy play action anytime Mariota has been in there, and the Chiefs have been the worst defense in the NFL this year against play action, giving up 11.2 yards per play. And the Commanders' defense doesn't need to be talked about. They are atrocious. They're right up there with the Cowboys and the Bengals for one of the worst units in the NFL. The Chiefs are going to be able to score at will now that they're fully healthy with Rashee Rice in there. So give me the over 47.5. I think both offenses are going to be able to put on a show. Now, moving forward, just do the red hot locks real quick for the NFL. With my unit sizes, obviously, I just went through every game, but now I'll tell you exactly how much I'm betting on every game and what my locks are. The first one is the Eagles minus 7.5 versus the Giants for 1 unit. The Panthers plus 7.5 against the Bills for a half unit. The Titans Colts over 47.5 for a half unit. The Cowboys Broncos over 50.5 for a half unit. The Packers minus 2.5 against the Steelers for 1.5 units. And then the Commanders Chiefs over on Monday Night Football over 47.5 for a half unit as well. And then my parlay of the day for tomorrow is going to be 3 legs as always, 1 unit on it, plus 592. It's going to be the Eagles minus 7.5, the Packers minus 2.5, and then the Cowboys Broncos over 50.5. We were 2 weeks in a row now. We've been 1 leg off of hitting the parlay today, and it's always come down to the last leg too. So hopefully this week we finally get across the finish line, cash in yet another parlay of the day. Now moving forward, college football red hot locks this week. I have 3 of them. First up is Iowa minus 8.5 against Minnesota for a full unit. Iowa's offense has really got going recently, and I think the 2 matchups on the ground, both offensively and defensively, really lead to, this is going to be kind of crazy to say, but I think Iowa actually wins this game running away from Minnesota. It's hard to really predict a blowout in the Iowa game, but I do think they're going to win this one comfortably and cover this number. Minnesota comes in at 5-2 with the same record as Iowa, but if you look at their end of the game win expectancies, it's kind of fraudulent. So I do like the Hawkeyes here to not only cover, but win pretty big against Minnesota. And then the next game up is Texas A&M and LSU over 49.5, also for 1 unit. This Texas A&M defense has been brutal, flat out brutal at tackling in the last few weeks. And that's going to be an issue against these LSU weapons in space. On the flip side, LSU is a very good secondary, multiple NFL players on that side of the ball. That being said, Texas A&M's best receiver, Concepcion, is primarily a slot receiver. He's going to be able to avoid those 2 big guys outside for LSU and take advantage across the middle of the field. I like him to have a big game. And then additionally, A&M is going to be able to run the ball against this LSU defense. And I think this is going to be an exciting shootout. Give me the over 49.5 here between A&M and LSU. And then the final college football play of the day is Oklahoma and Ole Miss under 52.5 for 1 unit. Flat out, I don't think Oklahoma's quarterback, Sean Mateer, is healthy. They rushed him back 2 weeks ago against Texas, and he was easily the worst player on the field. Literally couldn't throw the ball. Last week wasn't much better. Oklahoma was able to get the win with him, but the offense did not look good. And then this Oklahoma defense is very good, one of the best defenses in the country. One of the reasons why one of my preseason bets I gave out was Oklahoma to make the playoffs, because I was a fan of Mateer, and he was a Heisman favorite when he was healthy, but that's just not the case anymore. And then his Oklahoma defense is very good. And I think they're going to be able to limit what Chambliss, the Ole Miss quarterback, is going to be able to do in this one. And then Ole Miss themselves also has a pretty good defense as well. I just think this game is going to be way low scoring compared to what the books are predicting. So give me the under 52.5 in Ole Miss and Oklahoma. And that'll do it. We're going to have Iowa kicks off in about 25 minutes. So make sure you guys go and get that in. As always, best of luck, bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you next week.